on there anyway. We're
You
good.
can keep an eye on it while you're.
Well, it says it's good. There's a black screen showing. There we are. Okay, it's trying to work on YouTube. Oh, how do I turn that off? Can you hear me? Say something.
Yes, I can.
Okay, I had to mute my computer. Okay,
YouTube looks
it's
great.
really what
YouTube looks great.
is it? Is it buffering for you?
No,
Okay, it's buffering for me, but it's not for you. But it's because I'm in the stream studio. Great. If anyone's in here, there's not.
no.
You are. Should we try? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is working on Twitter.
Let's go. How can you tell? I'm a boomer.
If anyone's in here, we will start soon. I don't know if you are
Yeah.
or not.
Okay. Um. Great.
You just talk to him, Sibby, while we get this
Welcome
set
in,
up.
everybody. Get on in here. Welcome to our. Is this our first ever live appearance? No, we've done some like spaces and stuff like that, but first YouTube live. Happy to be here. We're gonna try this out. I can't wait. There's gonna
Yeah,
be a
I'm
million people
just.
in here talking about all of the things that we're gonna be talking about.
If
So have
anyone is, yeah, I hope they're in here. Since we're doing the Twitter thing, I don't know if people are going to come to YouTube.
oh,
Is the concern, but
fine, I suppose.
I thought I.
Wow, this is amazing. I love this so much. Is the Twitter one on? Is it just audio or is it video too?
It's video. Well, it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's actually going yet because
Okay.
I haven't. I'm working on the tweet. I thought
Okay.
I copied it, but I didn't.
Oh, small detail. I guess it gets people to come and. You think people are going to come into the YouTube? I bet they're all
Well,
going to
we'd
be
have
here.
to share it separately. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
So we could share the link to the YouTube for the no ones in here if we want them to, and then the Twitter one will just show up on its
okay.
own. I don't know. I have to click tweet though.
Gotcha.
So it's up to you. Do you want me to send Twitter or no?
I'm always a full send kind of gal, but
Okay.
if there's strategy elsewhere, I never have clarity of that until after the fact.
Okay. Whatever. Sending it. Tweet. It's out
Yes.
there. No turning back now.
I love that. I this seems right.
All right, we're good. I'll monitor Twitter questions if you monitor YouTube. Alrighty, we're
Cool.
live.
We
For
did
some-
it! Look at us
Let's
go!
go.
Wow. Do we wait for people to come in or do we just go?
I think we just go because this is going to be saved afterwards for people to watch that aren't here. So,
Cool.
we'll just
Cool, cool,
go. You,
cool.
you start the opening. I'll share it with
Yeah.
folks.
Welcome, everybody. Seeing Scarlet. Wow, it feels like more intimate and sincere. It's Sibby. It's Shelby. The usual. We're here with a Seeing Scarlet after dark. And what do we have to talk about, dude? We have so much. We are wearing our uniform. Show it off. Let's go. Tech soccer
Oh
here.
yeah, we're twinsies.
I
So
know.
I'm
Did you not
tweeting.
notice
This is
that
gonna
earlier?
be real testing my multitasking. I feel like I'm back in the sports business, working in baseball, doing 900 things at once. I'm back.
You
Okay, no, yeah,
are.
let's get it. Yeah, Texas Tech soccer. What about Texas Tech soccer? We're about to get into that, y'all. We're gonna talk about Texas Tech soccer. First, we're gonna get into them, break it down, everything they did this past week, and especially what came out today. They're a top 25 team for the first time since 2021. It's like 4
No
years ago,
way.
September. And then, of course, we'll talk about football and we'll talk about volleyball, who is prepping for conference as well, just as football is, and a few other tidbits. But that's what we're going to get into. I don't know if there's anybody in here because we didn't promote this at all. It's kind of out of necessity, but if it works, maybe we'll do it again. We're just both really busy this week.
Yeah.
and didn't have time to do the fancy editing and get you the highest quality possible like we usually do. Hopefully, this is good enough for y'all, and y'all can
Okay.
enjoy it.
The content quality is going to be the same.
Same.
Production value might be a little weird. I don't
The
know. You,
production quality of the videos that I'm talking about, but we'll see how it goes.
yeah, you maybe heard some of us trying to figure this out. But yeah, a
Hey, we
huge
got 8 people
announcement.
in here on Twitter, so I don't know if y'all got
Hey, hi,
questions. Y'all
friends.
are around, but let's get
Yeah,
it going. So
look,
we got our
let's.
soccer shirts on. Let's talk
We're
about
in
soccer.
uniform.
We are in uniform. It is a big week. We did start Big 12 play. It still feels like we didn't because it was Houston. That's not a shot at Houston, but I'm still
Oh,
not
yeah.
used to them being in the Big
Yeah,
12. But we are 1-0 in the Big 12 right now. Still
count it.
undefeated on the season. Haven't lost a game. And heading into a now top 25 matchup on Thursday.
Ooh.
But first, Sibby,
Oh my
for the
gosh,
people that
dude.
did not watch on Thursday,
Oh
didn't
my
get to see the
gosh.
Houston game, we haven't talked to people since then. Let's briefly give them our thoughts on Houston. I got to watch most of the game. I know you were in and out
Cool.
with some stuff, but I'm sure you caught the highlights. I'll let you do what you do as our resident soccer analyst, and I'll pipe in after that.
Let me yell at y'all about soccer. Y'all, we are undefeated. And the top 25 announcement today from the United Coaches poll, like Coaches United, United
Hype.
Coaches. We're still
No
learning
one
all
knows.
about all of that.
Yeah.
But that's so huge. And when we were texting earlier today, we were like, "Is today? Do we break top 25 today?" Yes, no, we don't know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
I knew we'd
yeah,
be close, but I wasn't sure if we sneak in there, but we
oh, I
got in
love
there.
it. You totally called it too. So right at that 25 mark, which is like, yeah, like you said, since 2021, huge. But having our first crack at Big 12 with Houston winning that match 3-0. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. That
It
is like
was
such a statement. I love it. Big fan.
Yeah, they're in
No
Houston.
notes.
Houston hasn't played many great teams yet this year. We'll be fair,
Yeah.
but they did come in like outscore. Like they hadn't allowed, or they had scored like 28 goals or something crazy.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
offense was pretty decent. Their defense has been. We knew like seeing the goals, like okay, we're gonna score goals against them. But to shut them out, I think is impressive no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So 28 goals they had scored coming in and we shut them out. I mean that's Madison White, but I thought Hannah Anderson. Obviously, you got
Yeah.
Crunch. Don't know the story there, but Cassie Taylor, that's what they call her. All of them. Macy Blackburn. I know she's offensively who people talk about a lot, but she is outside back. Kylie Barr, Elise Anderson. The list goes on. A lot of people
I
came
know.
in and did
Yeah.
well in that game on defense. And then you listen to the post game before we get into the offensive side, but you listen to the post game, and this is why this team is fun because Madison White was interviewed. And go listen to her interview. KTXT always does a good job of posting clips, and they posted one of her, and she's like, honestly, we didn't play very well. It's good that it's like she was basically like she was complimentary, but she was
Yeah.
what exactly what you want a leader to do. And she said essentially that she's never been on a team since she's been at Texas Tech that can win 3-0 while not playing very good. Is what she
Right.
said basically. And you're like, we just won 30-0. Then she
I
quickly
know.
quickly was like, I know we manhandled them, but we didn't really play well. And
Mm.
she's like, that's why this team excites me, but we have to clean up some things. And I watched. I'm assuming she's talking about the first half. I'm sure there's a lot more
Mm.
that them as a team see that they were not doing well. But in the first half, they were pretty sloppy at times, and we were trying to do some of our combinations, and they were getting picked off.
Mm.
But they were
Yeah.
getting picked off on our end, which was scary because their forward was
Their forwards
crazy
are
good. Like she sent some
crazy
of our
good.
girls to the ground, juking them
Mm-hmm.
out. And so you don't really want to get in a habit of giving players that talented those chances, but our defenders
Yeah.
are good enough to rebound and get back. But I'm assuming that's what that was about because I was texting you. I was like, yeah, we did a little sloppy. I think it was 1-0 at halftime. Then we scored two in the second half. Is what
Yeah.
happened. But
Yes. Correct.
so we cleaned it up in the second half, I think, a little bit more. But it would be interesting to know from their perspective, like what was
Yeah.
so bad. But that is
I,
my guess from
well.
her, especially as the keeper, she sees it all and she's like, "What are y'all doing?" You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
there definitely are things to get better on with this team, but they still won 3-0.
Yeah, and Madison being this huge leader and component of this team, and like when she says things like that, like she's been on a lot of great teams, and she
So
doesn't
inconsistent.
know, yeah, how you're winning a 3-0 match. and not playing well is what she said. But even in Tom Stone's interview, or his press conference, he talked about like going into halftime and being like, "Hey, we're up. Like,
I'm sure they were like
what's
down.
up?" Yeah. But I think that shows that this team is not ready to settle.
Yeah,
Like
they're not happy
coming
with
out of
what
that
they've
game,
done.
and Houston, like you said, their forwards, their strikers are so good. Like they were very threatening from the what I could
I'm
watch.
forgetting her name, which I feel bad, but they're because it's been a week now. Gosh, it feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
She was really good. I was very impressed
Mm-hmm.
by her ability on that end. We were kind of taking advantage of her on the other end, but offensively, she was dangerous up
Mm-hmm.
there. And
I
they
know.
played really aggressive too, which I think attributed to a lot of their steals, whatever you want to call them, in soccer. But they were picking off our passes. I'm a basketball person here, so this is what's going to happen. They were pressing. It looked like, and they were trapping us, and they were picking off a lot of our passes. Is what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I was texting you. I was like, I don't know what the soccer equivalent of this is, but they were playing really aggressive, and they were taking a lot of our passes, and
Mm-hmm.
then that was giving us a lot of lanes to go score, which we
Yes.
did. And I'm wondering if that's just how Houston plays, given you look at their record, and they've given up quite a few goals and they scored a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
while they were getting those passes against us, the good thing is we were able to recover and get back
Definitely.
there and do what we do.
Do
But
what
one
we
thing
do.
I will say before we move on to, well, actually, we got to talk about the goals in a second, and then
Yeah,
we'll
the
move on
game
to
itself. Yeah.
Texas. But this 3-0 game, we've had like a 6-0 game, we've had a 5-1 game. This is the type of stuff this team wasn't doing in the past 2 years, especially not last year. Part of that is the people that are on this team that helps the different personnel.
Yeah.
But you've heard teams, Madison White, players on this team talk about RPI. They don't shy away from RPI. They know that that's what kept them out last year. In addition to our poor play in the non-con while we figured out what to do after Macy got hurt, we played really well in conference. We won like didn't lose our last 6 or 7 matches or whatever, either tie or won them and finished second in the Big 12, and we didn't make the tournament. Our
Yep.
RPI was pretty rough last year. This year, you hear
Not
them talk
today.
about that in post game interviews about how like scoring these late goals that helps RPI. Like they've been saying that if you've been listening to them, they know what they're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not running up the score; it's soccer, and those things help, and it's worked because they are the highest RPI in the entire
Yes.
conference and top 10 in the
Yes.
country at number 9. And RPI is RPI. Like, it's not the end all be all. It doesn't mean you're the best team in the country, but it's analytics that the NCAA does use
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to picking teams to put them in the tournament. So it matters from that standpoint. That's something you have to care about. And this team has done a good job to put themselves in a position as we head into conference or rest of conference. We're already in the
More into
conference,
conference. Yeah.
and they're in a good spot where if they just win or get draws and all that, they should get to keep going. But it's a tough
Yeah.
week coming up, so yeah.
It is. It is. Yeah, and we'll break down a little bit too of what we're expecting or going to hope to expect from the University of Texas when we play them on Thursday. But yeah, let's hop into this Houston match. One of the first things I want to say is everybody I think noticed the crowd, and like all the home field advantage was very clear. Tom Stone talked about it too, of just how rowdy the crowd was. I was able to hear it too when I was watching the replay. So I think that's really cool. And Alex Kerr walked away with another brace, which, dude, I don't know. I
Just
talked
like
to you about this.
every
It's just
game.
Alex Kerr. I don't. I that is such a huge pickup for us. She has been so impactful for our team. She now has 8 goals with her career at Texas Tech. So I loved seeing that shift from her from Vanderbilt. I'm not even going to talk to her as a transfer from Vandy anymore. She's a Red Raider.
She's a Red
Uh,
Raider.
so Alex Kerr with, yeah, again another brace, and then Jill Martinez with an absolute banger of a goal. Oh my god, I can't wait to talk
Y'all,
about
if you have
it.
not seen this goal,
It
go
is
find the replay
nuts.
and then prepare yourself some snacks because you're gonna watch it at least 30 times. At
Just
least that's the
keep
minimum
watching
amount of
it.
times that you're physically capable of watching. Like your body will not allow you to be like, wait, what did I see? And then you go
Yeah,
back and watch it again, and you see it. It bends this way, and then it bends this
beautiful.
way, and then it just
It's beautiful.
floats at the end, and the keeper gets up, And bless this girl's heart, which I think she's a Texas Tech transfer. She obviously didn't play at Texas Tech because Maddie White has been here
Nice one.
for
Yep.
5 years, but I believe they said on the broadcast she transferred from Texas Tech. She was here at some point. Um, so she got to learn from someone good. She made a good break on the ball,
Mm.
dove, and she's like there. If it wasn't some superhuman crazy level spin, like this thing went this way and then it went that way and then
I
it at the very end like dropped off. It was wild and it
and
was
all
just awesome.
and that is seeing that slow motion replay, all of that is showing is like how powerful she is. And I've seen comments like small but mighty and like all of those things. And like, yeah, she's shorter, but like to me, there is no gap in any part of her performance. It is again another transfer too from UCLA, and she is. I think she's just heating up to a lot of potential, and that goal was just chef's kiss.
She had a similar one to that,
Yes,
minus
she
the
can
crazy
boot
bend, but
it.
she got
Yeah,
a deep one. Everything she hits is a bomb. I just feel like the girl has
absolutely
a cannon. And
unreal.
I think Tom, if I remember right, Tom Stone, head coach, talked about after the game how it's really important for like the positions she plays because how active our outside backs are and how good we are at getting crosses that now they're getting so much attention. There's this empty space there in the middle for players like her to take advantage of, and she's done that.
Yeah,
We've seen Kazarski do that one game, so it's good to have more players. That's the cool thing about this team. You go through the stats. Yes, you have Kerr and you have Williams just up there,
I know.
leaders, top
Yeah.
tens in the country and goals scored, but every night there seems to be someone else that's doing
Mhm.
something. And then when it comes to Ashley Williams, it's been a few games now since she scored, but she's making an impact and you can see that. And so I
Yes.
really appreciate what she's doing for the team. And she's not, at least from what I'm seeing, she's not putting her head down and getting too discouraged. I'm sure she wants to score, but she's making runs and people know who she is. Like they're like,
I
hey, this girl's not going to beat her. And two girls are chasing Ashley, and then Kerr is just rolling around over here, or
mhm.
that's where that Jillian Martinez has that open space because Ashley made that run. So it's important what she's doing too. The ball's going to find her again. She had a couple of chances in this one as well that just a little unlucky on the touch, but she'll
Yeah.
get one here soon coming up. I no doubt. And it's just that's the danger of this team. We're pretty deep this year because in the past it would have been all on her. Like
Mhm.
that's what Alex Kerr brings to this team.
Yeah. Another
I don't
scoring
think
and
we're winning 3-0 in a game where Ashley Williams doesn't score if Alex Kerr isn't here. We don't know. I mean, maybe one of these freshmen would have stepped up. You don't know, but
yeah.
she's just it's great. The depth of the team is really fun.
Yeah, totally. I have a huge shout out and like something I've observed from Ashley, like when we get to that goal where she, I think, yeah, she assisted Alex Kerr.
Yep.
But yeah, I think like we're seeing a lot of the people that we talk about a lot, and Macy Blackburn continuing to provide opportunities. And
She's so good.
God, what a star, dude. And the combination of Macy and Sam continuing to be threatening, and
Sam's
uh
just so fun. I know
she's
she
so
has
fun.
one back. She had probably the cleanest look she's had, and booted it
Yeah.
over the. She was too excited. She booted it over the
Yes.
goal, top of the goal. Who is that from Ashley as well? Someone set her up really nice at
Okay.
the top, and she had a lot of space for once. Which Sam, even as a freshman, has not been getting a lot of space. People know who she is now.
Yep.
So she booted it, but you expected like that to go in, and she'll get it next time. She still hasn't scored at home, but I
No.
hope that she keeps the thing going on the road because he's next to her on the road. And before we get into that, we did have a question
Yep.
from Sean Dillon on Twitter, so I'll just go ahead and ask since
Hi,
he's
Sean.
listening. Which Big 12 competitors have you most concerned, Sibby? We're getting into one of them.
Ooh.
Texas is one of the better teams in the conference, obviously. There's the second highest ranked team in the conference behind BYU. My answer to that would be those two.
Yeah.
I think the BYU one at BYU is gonna be tough, but so much fun. Like I'm so stoked
Electric.
for it. Like the
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere. They have 5,000 people packed in there. TCU went up there and got a draw the other night. Almost beat them. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just they were just the number one team in the country last week. They're probably fifth or something now. They dropped down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but they're just a fun team. They have that history. So worries me is a strong word, but I think it's maybe that's just because I'm like the competitor in me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm just excited to play those teams. I'm excited about the opportunity ahead this week. Really, two good tests, no matter how it happens, whatever the result is. Good things. I think for this team, I believe in this team enough that good things are going to come. We're going to learn a lot about Our team
Yeah.
would grow from it for sure, but definitely winnable games. But they would be quote unquote upsets, I think.
Sure.
What we'll get into here. But what about
Yeah.
you?
I mean, hi Sean, I love you. And you're right, Shelby. Like I'm not concerned. You know what I mean? It's like it's the thrill of great. I cannot wait until we get to these really electric
Yeah.
games, and I completely agree with you. It's UT coming up this Thursday. I think is going to be. It's really like an important game, I think, because we have had so much success in pre-conference, and now with Houston, it's I think one of our bigger tests, and it being away, and yeah, both of the games being away with BYU and UT. But I'm also really excited for the TCU game at home. That one's going to be really really exciting too. No matter what happens with TCU season, they kind of seem to be kind of
They're
flux
better
in
than
flux.
their record shows.
Yeah.
And we saw that by they had BYU beaten until like the last 5 minutes of the game when BYU got that equalizer on the road.
Yes.
That is crazy draw. That's an impressive draw, and they played the fifth hardest schedule in the country. That's not an exaggeration. That's stats.
Yeah.
So they're better than their record is, and they'll be fun. They were top 10 before the season. If let's put it this way, if they had the schedule even that we've had, which has been okay but not great, it's like middle 50th or something. They might be undefeated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
would
I totally get
probably
it.
still be ranked top 10. So they've tested themselves, but those tests have not gone in their favor outside
Correct.
the BYU game. So there's holes
Yeah.
to their defense their defense is great, their offense is but they scored 3 on BYU. So yeah, those are the teams. Our schedule's pretty tough, Sean.
It
if you're
is.
still listening. We have one of the harder schedules in the conference. Everyone has a tough schedule because the Big 12's just stupid good now with the additions of the new teams.
Stacked.
But we are so lucky to play pretty much all of the top 5 teams on the road except for TCU, because we have Texas on the road this week, Baylor on the road this week. We have BYU on the road in the future, and UCF on the road. I believe those are the top 5 teams ranking-wise in the Big 12 right now, in addition to us.
Mm-hmm.
And all but one are on the road. So that's tough. But this team that's senior leadership.
They're ready for it.
Yeah, we haven't scored as much on the road. That would be something I'm looking for us to do this week.
Mm-hmm.
Is our score? We've scored a lot of goals at home. When we've gone on the road, we've scored 1.
Okay.
Did we score 2 against Arizona State?
I'll have to go back and
1-0.
look.
It was a 1-0 win, right? So I think we've only scored 1 goal in each of our 3 road games outside of the exhibition, which didn't count. Supposedly we scored 2. So if we get that going, I think that helps. But yeah, it'll be fun as we move here. So moving ahead.
Yeah.
Thursday.
I still want to talk about this freaking Houston game, Shelby. So
you got more?
Let's get through.
Covered all of
it. I really want some things to be highlighted here. We talked about Jill, that goal from her left foot. She was bending that ball beyond science. I don't understand. It was awesome. Awesome to watch. Parsons had a really great touch to settle the ball to get that pass to her, which was really calculated, and she knew like what she needed to do under pressure because she was right outside of the box. So shout out to her too. But Shelby, I have a little basketball term that I've been seeing with Ashley Williams, and so we've talked about her, and she's hasn't been able to make a connection to the back of the net in the past couple games. But what she does so well is and especially if we're trying to eat up the clock, is she'll do like a block out with defenders of, okay, she has the ball in front of her. She like blocks out like 50 million defenders behind her because she's so strong. And she has that time to either say, all right, I'm about to make you look like a fool, or I'm going to pass it to, Alex Kerr or Matt Macy or whoever it is so that they can make you look like a fool. Yeah. But she did that, which gave her time to calibrate and then send a perfect ball over to Alex Kerr. Alex Kerr received that ball almost at and took it up a little bit. And what was really great, Alex, is that I don't think the keeper was expecting her to
shoot it from that distance where she was a little bit outside of the box. Ashley Williams, after she made that pass to Alex Kerr, she started getting set up for her to like be in position for her
to score if she needed to. But Alex was like, I'm just gonna do this right now. If that's okay. So she sends it in there, goes into the lower left part of the net. Oh my goodness. It was so hype. And I just wanted to shout out Ashley, like what we talked about. Her time is gonna come. Like she's going to continue to do what she has been doing this season. I also wanna like highlight how amazing she is outside of like scoring. Like she's doing her job and doing it well, and I was just really impressed to see that. And
yeah, she's a force on like when her and Alex both are good at it, like pressing up the towards the keeper. After they get a goal kick, whatever's happening, sometimes we go after them, and she's so quick and so strong that they are startled, and she gets them sometimes. So yeah, Ashley's gonna get some goals, but soccer is one of those sports, especially where there's so much happening that doesn't end up in the score sheet because I mean, it's 3-0, and that's like a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you get assists and all that.
That's why we're here.
There's a lot of things happening that you'll see on the field that you see people having some big moments. Speaking of, I just remember tweeting it, but Molly Skurzinski, I believe she's a sophomore, had like a really great defensive play at midfield, and I was super hype about our fans, which we haven't talked about. It feels like it forever ago, but there was a great group of fans. I don't know what was the story behind them having Macy Blackburn. Maybe they've just been listening to the podcast or watching games. They know what's up, or they're friends of her, but they were chanting her name. They had their chest painted, and these students were going crazy. And when Molly like just stole it from this girl at midfield, the stands went crazy, and Tom Stone's going crazy. And I just love that our fans are that knowledgeable of the game to know like, oh, that was a great play. And so that's fun. You got to watch this team if you haven't. They're getting a lot of attention today because they rightfully are in the top 25. So I think some people are going to tune in. Well, they probably want to tune in on Thursday. It is on the Longhorn Network. But we will be live tweeting it, and we'll give you a preview here in a second as we roll over into it. But we will be live tweeting it. If you can't still a friend's log in to their DirecTV or something to watch Longhorn
Do they have
Network.
a free trial? Like, how can we hack into this?
There's no way the Longhorn Network has a free trial. They're so flippin' Longhornish.
Sibby at Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah, I've already borrowed a friend's login. I'm ready to go.
Oh my gosh.
So find a friend that still has DirecTV. I don't know if those people exist.
Oh my gosh.
Still, I found one.
Oh, good.
I know a lot of people actually that do, because out in the country you still can't stream as well. So they got those satellites out there still. So hook me up. I'll be able to watch them for Sibby. Can figure out how to watch. We'll get it going. Get there. There's a lot of Red Raiders in Austin. Our friend Matt over there, Mateo Nomeo, is gonna rally the troops in Austin and get them there. It's free to go apparently.
He told me he has a group of people to go. I'm so proud of that. That's great. Yeah, if you're in Austin, dude, this is going to be such a hype game. So let's talk about it. Texas Tech versus that school in Austin coming up this Thursday.
14. It's 14.
Yeah.
I have 17 in the notes, but it's definitely 14.
14 what?
Number 14 in the nation.
Okay.
Texas.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let's talk about it. Historically, they have dominated Texas Tech. We've won 9 against them, lost to 18. Yeah, yada. We're not even going to talk about that ever again. So this game is going to be so much fun. A good test, like we've talked about already. Texas now is 7-1-1 overall. Like we said, I think we talked about this in a little bit in our last episode about who Texas has played so far. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit about that. They have a schedule and they play the games.
Would you like me to read them? What are you
doing? I have the notes. I wasn't very nice in my notes. So I'm trying.
They haven't played very many people. If you look at my notes, I'm not very nice either. Okay. I'll say it. You
okay, cool. I like making friends. I'm about the feelings.
They are rightfully ranked number 14. They are a good team. Okay. They're actually number 10 in the Massey ratings when the computers that look at all the factors in play. Have they played a lot of great teams? No. Have we played? Our schedule's probably a little better than theirs, but we also haven't played anybody in the top 20 either. We're about to do it. We are going to be their best opponent that they've played, and they're going to be our best opponent that they've played. They've lost. Their one loss was to LSU, and their tie was to Gonzaga, who was in the top 25 at the time. I think that was a 0-0 draw. So it seems like when they come against some teams that have a little better defenses, they don't go crazy on the goal scoring, which is what you can hope is what's going to happen, because they are stupid good statistically wise offensively, and they're coming in confident, and confidence in every sport, yes, soccer included,
Yeah.
is big.
It's
big, and they've been scoring goals. They're fluid and they're confident. Their chemistry is great. You saw that in their last Thursday game. They played Baylor at Baylor,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a 0-0 tie at halftime, and you're like,
It
oh, okay,
was.
this is what
Yeah.
we're talking about. They haven't, they're playing a little bit of a better defense. Baylor is like 43rd in the country in defense or something, and they were doing well. Couldn't watch it in the second half, but something happened and they blew up and they won
did.
4-0. So they're very similar to us in that way, and that they're relentless. And when you're that relentless and playing bad defensive teams, you're going to score a lot of goals, but they're also just really good. They're just really good.
Yeah.
What's most impressive to me about their offense is they have the number one scoring offense in the country, NCAA wise, like 4.3 a game.
Yep.
But if you look at it home and away, they score about 4 goals at home and 4 goals on the road,
Away. Yeah.
which to me is really impressive, because you look at ours and it's very much skewed to
Lopsided. Mm-hmm.
5 goals at home and 1 at home, one on the road, which that's where it concerns you a little bit with us going on the road. But we haven't played a lot of road games, so we'll see how that turns out, if we can turn the tide. But they are a good offensive team, and they just haven't played a lot of good defenses yet. So
This will be
we
good.
are a good defensive team. Like, we're top 20 in the country.
Let's go. Yeah, our defense, I think, is prepared for this test. Like what we talked about. Like, this is a good test. Yeah, Baylor was like 5-3-1, I think, either before or after that match. And then another note too, with talking about how powerful Texas has been, is that they have outscored their last 6 opponents 28-0. So that, I mean, yeah, those are facts. That's stats. But one thing that I'm really hoping to see, and what we have done almost every single game, is, I mean, it took Texas to score against Baylor in like their 55th minute.
And
And
they didn't stop.
and then they didn't stop. But I really want us to come in like we have been and score early. Like, I want us to hit the ground running like we have been, do what we
I'm here
do,
for it.
lean into our identity. And I don't have any concerns about us not coming and showing up in the way that I want that to happen. And Texas is like, this is going to be a shootout too. Back when they played Baylor, they were out shooting Baylor like 10-2 shots, I think it was. So they're really impressive, but I think we both had this player in our notes, and it seems like
Misimo?
Lexi Missimo. We'll have to get that.
Misimo is what the highlights say, but
Y'all,
the
they're
broadcasters have it correct.
Yeah, if you watch this game, or if you're there, Lexi is the one to watch. She's on UT.
She's got to be leader in the clubhouse.
She is
right
the
now,
leader.
Player of the year in the country, not just
She's
the
so many things. Like,
country.
dude, she's leading the nation with goals. She has 12.
Second now, but yeah.
She's second out. Okay. And this might be an outdated stat too, now that you're saying that. But also leading the country in assists.
She is still doing that. Yes.
Okay, cool. So
which is kind of wild to be doing both.
It is, isn't it? Like, I can't wait to
That tells you a
watch
lot
her
about
play.
the rest of the team.
I know. Yeah. So that's what
stacked, but
that's something to take note of too, is if we can shut down Lexi, and see what happens to UT after that point.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if she's a player that you can shut down, but listen, I'm not a soccer strategist, but she's like one of those players, like in basketball, we wouldn't go into the game and be like, we're going to shut down like Cheryl Swoops. Like, it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
you try to make them beat you, because she has 15 assists. So you try to just put 30 people on her, she's just going to give people wide open shots.
Somebody else the ball.
So I don't know that we go out of our way to like shut her down because she's so good at distributing. I think we just do what we do.
Sure.
And if they need to adjust, they will. Like, our coaching staff is good, but I think you trust in that back line, and you trust in Madison White. You do what you do. I'm sure we have certain strategies in place, but I don't know that I would be like, let's go double Lexi
Yeah.
Because what is she going to do? Just tap it over to Trinity Bears, who is second and they're third in the nation in goals with 10?
I never not that I never, but I have so much faith in like Hannah and really like our back line at this point. But mostly with Hannah, like, and Madison, like I just feel so good about that duo. So like when I say shutdown, it's like psst, Madison and Hannah, like
Yeah, I got
you're gonna be working this
do.
game.
I will be interested though to see if we keep our outside backs back a little bit more than they have been, because that's tough to do with Macy, right? But
Right.
are you gonna send both of them up at the same time like we've been doing? It's basically been Cassie and Hannah back there
I
for
know.
a lot of these games. But it's gonna be an interesting and Texas has the same questions on their hand. Our offense is 20th in the country. We're up there too. They're first, but we're up there as well. And our defense is a little bit better. So both these teams are it's gonna be a battle of wills a little bit. Like who's gonna give in first? Who's gonna just come out and be like, I don't care, we're playing our game, you stop it, or who's gonna adjust and who's not. So this is a really fun game to watch if you can get into it. I'm really excited. I don't know if you have more notes on it, but the Massey prediction, if you will, is a 28% chance to win for us.
Okay.
So we're the underdog, which is to be expected. Number
We
14 on the road. If this was at home, I think it'd be a pretty 50-50 split, statistic-wise. But because it's on the road, that's a tougher environment to play in. And they are actually predicted to win. Texas is predicted to win 2-1, which honestly wouldn't be that bad of a results if you're talking RPI and all that wise for us to lose 2-1 to Texas. But this is a team that I haven't felt this way about.
Right? Doesn't it hit different?
In a while, where it's like, hey, there's no one in this conference that I feel like we would just have to play out of our mind to beat. You know what I mean? Because it is that way with some sports on campus, where it's like we're gonna play the best game we've ever played to have a chance. And you kind of feel that way about going to BYU, but there's holes there, and we have such depth and such senior leadership. Listen, any game can get away from you. It can. We don't know what's going to happen on Thursday, but I trust that this group is never going to quit. Like, it could be 0-0 into the 89th minute. Macy Blackburn's going to throw a beautiful crossover, and Hannah's going to fly in with her head and knock it in like she did the other day in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, that set piece.
You know what I mean?
So yes.
So, this team's never out of it. So I think if they keep their heads, they have the right mindset. And mentally, I think this game, shocker, Shelby, sports psychology, I think this game is one on the mental side more than it is the physical tools. I think both teams pretty evenly match when it comes to skill.
Yeah.
Texas fans are probably, I don't know why they'd be listening to our podcast. There's no way.
Because they love us.
I very much would put our players' skill up against anybody.
Totally.
And it's a mental thing for this one. You going on the road, playing a big team, you're ranked for the first time in 2 years.
Yep.
You got to not care about that stuff. You've done the work. That should be a pat on the back. You've earned the respect. Doesn't matter once you step on the pitch. And I'm really excited to see what they do on Thursday as well as Sunday, which we can get into after this. But
yeah. I mean, like on the count of three, what is the word that we use to describe this team? 1, 2, 3, relentless. Like this, it's so fun to be like a fan during this time. And yeah, I think that like some of the last thing that I'll say is, I mean, it kind of goes into what Madison's quote for the game against Houston is like, zero smiles. Like business is starting. Like we're in the middle of this. Like
it's like
the goal hasn't been reached for this team, and they know they have to blast through Austin and blast through UT to get there and take that next step. So I'm so hyped for this game, y'all. I'm gonna be losing my mind. Like I'm gonna be playing out of my mind in my mind, but watching the game. So if you can be there, be there. If you can watch. This team just feels so good, so strong, and the roster is so deep, like we talk about all the time.
Every game coming in, what's
next?
Your prediction for Texas? You always give a prediction, see if you're right. Obviously, the analytics say Texas is winning 2-1. We know.
I kind of want to
agree with that.
That's
what I'm feeling too.
Maybe a flip, but I don't see Madison having a goal scored on her on this game.
Oh, wow.
Dude, we've talked.
I'm telling you right now, if Madison White shuts the number one offense out in the country,
give it to her.
I am going to be so annoying on Twitter. Prepare yourselves mentally, everyone that's listening to this.
I didn't know what you were
Shut
gonna
up
say.
about her.
I didn't know where you were gonna go with that, but
Because
this is
I
good.
will
Yes.
be, like, I don't care how many goals Madison gives up. It says nothing about her ability. This is a great offensive team. Both
Yes.
us and them, and both keepers are just going to be making wild saves all game. Both of them, I expect them to. We have the better keeper though, and so that was what
We
gives
do.
me confidence in this game. As
Yeah.
long as everyone is doing their job and not making her
Yes.
make 14 saves in a row and giving her a
She
little
could
bit
do
of a
it.
reprieve,
Yeah.
I like our chances with that. But obviously we're
Yeah.
biased. But
I know. Yeah. If you haven't, go watch Madison's interview and you'll be like, oh, okay, I
She's locked
understand what they're talking about. But I mean, like she's her first ever game with Texas Tech was this high pressured, like really important game. Do your thing, Madison. 2-0
we've given
Texas
up
Tech.
3 goals this year.
Why do you
right?
keep asking me these questions?
2,
Like
it's 3. I remember the first 2, and they were both not on her. I feel like the
I
third
know.
one wasn't either, but I don't remember what the third one was.
It's in the past, Shelby.
Yeah, the third one was that weird one where we passed it just gave it to the other team. It was
Oh,
like she almost
yeah,
made
that was a
save.
bummer.
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't this anyway. Texas is good. If we give up a goal, it's not anything to say about Madison. But I'm telling you right now, if we win 2-0, like you just said,
We're gonna be unbearable.
yeah,
I'm gonna come back to Twitter.
we're gonna get blocked by Orange Bloods. We're gonna get blocked by every UT account.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I've had worse happen
Oh my God,
on
now
Broadway.
I need it to happen. I was not putting that on Madison, so but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it too. It's gonna be really fun, regardless. So
You know
yeah,
she's
good
hyped
luck.
because
Good
of her
luck, Tech Soccer.
mindset.
You don't need it, but
You know Madison White is hyped to go against the number 1 offense. Statistically,
oh yeah,
we're
she's
obviously number 1.
she's
but
in the zone.
In the scorebook right now, they're number 1.
wow. Texas
Not
Tech Soccer.
after
What time is their game? Do you have their
I
schedule
assume it's
pulled
at
up?
7
Okay.
Central. That's when they mostly are. It is on the Longhorn Network. Still a friend's password. Get on there and watch it. If you're in Austin, go to the game. If you are not aware who Mateo Nomeo is, DM us, message
go
us.
meet
We'll
him.
hook you up with Maddie. He's putting a group together.
He already
Sounds
has
like
one.
There's a solid amount of people going to the game. It's free to go. Apparently I don't know what that's about, but they play in their track facility, so it's like a capacity of 20,000 people. So
Right.
that's why
You got
they're
room.
not. They probably sell season tickets and then I don't know how it works, but
Yeah.
anyway, it's free to get in,
Do
so
it.
no cost. Heck, if you're going, you send me a screenshot of the game. I'll Venmo you beer money. I don't care, or the beverage of your choice. Just get your little butt to the game.
All right,
and
I'm gonna
scream
go.
Raider.
I'm just gonna go now.
You're gonna
Will you
drive
Venmo
to
me beer money?
Austin?
Okay, cool. Yeah,
All right.
and one last thing too. Just wanted to tell you this, but when I was
Mm-hmm.
playing in my softball game earlier, you know how they say
Oh.
like 2 outs or whatever.
Yes.
I did this. I said we got 2 outs, y'all. Everybody's like, "What the is she doing?" I'm like, "We got 2 outs."
A lot of people do that anyway, but
Okay,
yeah,
Okay. Well,
we naturally do it.
really?
It's UT hate week, but it's always that's the other thing. It's our last time playing the University of
I
Texas. Here's
know.
my plea. Camera. If you're
Okay.
in Austin,
Oh, look at her.
if you're a Red Raider that lives in Austin, around Austin, within driving distance of Austin, on Thursday at 7:00, get your little butt over to Austin and watch Texas Tech, the number 25 team in the
Smash.
country, take on the number 14 team in the country and the number 1 offense in the country against our own Madison White and our stalwarts
And
back
company.
there on defense, about to show the world what's up and gain some more respect. And it's free. Go to the game. If you need some friends, there's a group already going. We know who they are. Message us. We'll get you in touch with them. You'll make friends, and you'll have a good time, and you'll
make
get to see
friends.
Texas Tech beat the University of Texas in the last time these two teams will meet in the regular season in Big 12 play. There's always a chance in the postseason or in the Big 12 tournament, but in regular season, this is their last ever matchup. It's a historic moment. And it's about to be real historic when Madison White, apparently, according to City, does
Yeah,
not
dude.
allow the number 1 offense in the country to score a single goal. Me
You
personally,
probably won't even
I just
get
want
there.
the win. But if that happens, you will have been there to see it. So let's go.
Let's go. I love it. Tech Soccer, take care of business. Who's next? What?
All right, yeah. If that's not anything, talk about.
Can I take a nap?
Talk about the rebound. You want to talk about mental strength here. After you beat number 14 on the road, celebrate that for a day. You get the 24-hour rule. I don't even know if you get that in soccer. Thank goodness they've changed the rule. It used to be Friday, Sunday games. It's now Thursday, Sunday games. So they have a little bit more of a break. Then you just got to travel this little butt on over to Waco and take on another top team in the conference. They're not ranked this year, but they've played a decent schedule. Baylor is currently 46th in the Massey ratings. They just lost to Texas last Thursday, 4-0. But again, it was tied at half. They did a good job on this great offense, holding them down in the first half, and then just kind of let it get away from them there in the second half. But they're a solid team. They have wins over Oregon and Butler. They lost to a really good SMU team, which honestly, SMU is probably Texas's best win. Texas just murdered SMU 6-0. But SMU is like 30th in the country, Massey rating wise. I don't know. Haven't seen them play, but they just keep popping up there. So, yeah, that's probably they lost to them, but not a bad team. They lost to Texas and they lost to Nebraska. All three of those teams are top 30 teams.
Dude, Nebraska's been nutso potato.
Yeah, yeah. Moral of the story is they're 46th, but as every team in the Big 12 is, they're all going to be tough outs, especially on the road. And they actually play BYU on Thursday. So
tough, dude.
Let's hope BYU beats them up a little bit, makes them tired. But that's a tough. We'll learn a lot about Baylor on Thursday, just like we'll learn a lot about ourselves. And that'll be a fun. Imagine if we beat Texas, they beat BYU, and then those teams are facing off all of a sudden on Sunday. What a fun time! So, before I let you do your thing, the analytics give us a 45% chance to win, which is the favorite. I think Baylor has their percentages don't work evenly. I think Baylor's is like a 30% chance to win. Don't understand that math doesn't add to 100, but that's
the math not mathing for you.
So we have a 45% chance to win. Technically the favorite, but no one's really predicted to win because the computers say it will be a 1-1 draw. What do you say, Sibby?
Against Baylor, not so much. I honestly I was doing a lot of digging of when we were looking at UT, and I was like, who has UT played, and gone through those different schedules. And Baylor, again, like being 5-3-1, they have those notable wins here and there, but we're gonna keep winning, Shelby, and I can throw.
Who's gonna beat us? We'll find out.
Who's going to beat us? Don't know. Who's next? Like, we'll take care of business. But I think what I've seen from Baylor so far is they have, of course, impressive players. But after coming back from BYU and then they have Texas Tech, even though it's at home, we're going to win that game.
Talking about a tough stretch for us, I'm sure for them.
They're
looking at,
yikes.
I hope for their sake they're saying we get to, but they might be saying we have to play the number 6 team in the country in BYU, followed up by the number 25 team in the country. So they're going to be tested. They're not. I mean, they've played good teams, is what I'm getting at. This is not Texas probably has played a worse schedule than Baylor has, so they've been tested. So this is not a situation where they'll be they'll be ready for the game, and Baylor's always tough. So yeah, I'm excited to play them, to be honest. I'm excited for both these games. It's a really fun week because we get the big one on Thursday, which we're all excited about. Then you have Baylor, and no matter what happens, we of course say we're getting out with 2 wins or 2 draws or something. Good outcomes. But no matter what happens, you have a couple of home games coming up next week. I think it's Cincinnati, it's 2 get-right games, if you will.
Yeah.
Work on.
We'll have Oklahoma on the 28th, and then Cincinnati on the 1st of October.
Yeah.
Both at home.
So those are 2 games where it's like, okay, there's no easy games in this conference, but as far as the top 5 teams, you played 2 of the top 5-6 teams this week. Get a little break. Oklahoma's always tough. They're always they have a new coach, but when we were talking to Hannah and Madison, they both brought up Oklahoma as being kind of like they play very physical, is what the word they used to put it nicely. So we'll see if that continues with their new coaching staff, and it'll be tough. But they're at home, so you'll get those, and then it gets really tough. You have those 3 games in a row there after that with BYU, TCU, and UCF, with 2 of those being on the road. So it's a fun start to Big 12. It's tough. You've put yourself in a great position with what you've done in non-con. You haven't lost, but most importantly, You've put up goals, you've put up shutouts, and your RPI is top 10 in the country. Do what you do. Do what you did last year in the Big 12 play. Obviously, BYU and UCF are great additions. You didn't have to play them last year. But you do that again, you're in the tournament. The team not talking about that, get it. Not their job to talk about that. That's what we do here. We are always looking towards the tournament. They're looking at Texas. But they've done a great job. They've done the work to put themselves in the position and get the respect. They finally have gotten that with the polls. Now you just work. I mean, you could be well in the top 15 if you somehow win both these games. But either way, you're learning a lot about yourself, and you have 2 good games to grow before you go on the road to some really big time matchups there with BYU and UCF.
That's right. Yeah, it's a good time to be joining in. So buckle up, because I mean, it already started, but like we're in for a good ride. So I mean, yeah, we're
become a soccer fan, y'all.
Yeah.
Shelby we've been trying to tell y'all. I've been a soccer fan. I'm just not like someone that sits around and analyzes soccer. I just watch
until
it for
now,
funsies.
baby.
But
Until now,
soccer is like one of the few sports I've never covered.
You're doing so good,
like in media, and so
you're doing so good.
Sports are sports, though. Like space is space, passing
sports
is passing.
Ball,
you know what
sports
I mean?
ball. You know.
So it's fun. It's fun. You'll love it. This team's also just really fun to watch. There's
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. You know how if you were not a basketball fan, a fan of basketball back in the year that the men went to the Final Four,
what a great year.
it was probably a tough sell to be like, hey, you got to watch this team. They're not really that fun to watch. They just play 40 to 40 games. But if you love basketball, we loved it, right? But if you didn't, you're like, this is boring. Why do y'all love this, right? Like people were crazy like saying that to us, and then you go that far. This team is fun to watch, and they're good.
That's right.
They do some flashy moves. Even if you're not a soccer fan, you'll become a fan of them if you just start watching. And it's another sporting event to watch every week. They play 2 times a week. It's good times.
And we're good. Like, it's so nice to get behind a good team.
We were pretty good last year once we got to conference, but it was kind of a boring team to watch because it was very defensive-minded.
Yes,
with Macy out, and we didn't have Kerr yet, and it was just basically Ashley Williams doing what she does down there by herself.
Right.
So, yeah. But this year it's fun, so get into it if you haven't. And that's what I got. Thursday night. Watch it. Tweet it. Be there in person if you can. Austinites. Is that what they call themselves? Austonians. Be there in person.
Care.
If you live in Waco, I don't know if we have a big alumni base in Waco, but if you got them on Sunday as well.
Do it. Why not? Yeah.
All right.
That's a great way to wrap it up with soccer. Let's move forward to
volleyball.
Okay.
Our friends over at volleyball, they were off for 10 days. We finally got to watch them play again. 1 game, so keep that in mind while we're doing this recap. Women's sports coverage is getting so much better. It's so much better as a fan because of ESPN Plus. That's why I love ESPN Plus. Unfortunately, this tournament they were at, they only streamed the games that the home team was playing in, so we only got to watch them play the Friday night game, which was against SMU. And I think the Coach Greystone even said this in the presser today, and I completely agree. That game was a microcosm of our season.
Yeah.
We got absolutely thrown out the gym on the first set, lost 25-11, and SMU's a good team. Get the SMU out of your mind. I mean, they're an ACC team now, right? Starting next year, but they're a good team. They played a great schedule, and they played some really good teams, and they're up there in all the metrics. And so we knew it was going to be a tough test.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to get absolutely waylaid in the first set, 25-11. But then we do what this team has done all year, is we lay an egg, and then they come back. They fight. They were down in that second set, and they fought, and then they won the second set, right? And then they come out, and they dominate the third set. Really, they win the third set. And then it gets in that fourth set, and if I remember right, SMU went on a crazy 10-0 run or something you just never see in volleyball at this level. And that is what this team is struggling with right now. They went on that 10-0 run. We tried to fight our way back in. I think we ended up losing only by a few points. But when there's a 10-0 run in the middle, it's really tough to recover from that. Totally. And then in the 5th and final deciding set, SMU was the more veteran team, the more experienced team, and the more talented as far as depth team when you add in the experience overall, and they just closed it out. But we could have. I think the weekend would have gone a little differently if we had won that game. It was a shot to probably a little bit of confidence killer because they've been off for 10 days after those 2 games. And then from what I could tell, again, we couldn't watch it, but the LSU game, we just couldn't find our footing again. Wasn't any consistency. We did win on Sunday versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi, so that was nice to see them get a win to close it out. But my biggest thing watching this team is it's nothing new from what we've seen. We're very talented, but a lot of that talent is freshmen. You have Dugan and you have Merrick as your grad seniors that are just Merrick really had her best probably weekend of the season. She was all tournament. Dugan was all tournament doing what she does as our seniors.
Dude.
And then it's a lot of freshmen. You have Correa, of course, trying as a junior out there doing what she does. But all these new faces, and everything is about consistency and mistakes with them. And I think that when they're preparing for a conference, I don't even know if they're looking at the scouting report for Houston. They're probably just like, we gotta get better at these things. It's not a talent thing. It is a very exciting team to look at, and you're like, wow, if they can keep these 7 freshmen and these with Bryn Williams as a sophomore class together, they'll be really, really good in a couple of years if they can keep them all together and keep them here. So the talent is there. It's just a consistency and a chemistry thing. Yeah. And I think that's probably why when you look at our schedule, why we played so many games compared to what we'll do now that we get in conference. We'll play a more 1 to 2, 3 games maybe at most a week now, mostly 2 a week, and settle in. But we've been playing like 4 or 5 games a week, and I think they were trying to get that chemistry, and it just hasn't come yet. But this could be a really good team by the end of the year. The question is, what is our record by the end of the year? How long does it take to get that consistency?
Yeah, and I think we had some players with or I guess they call it like was it the all tournament team that made the all tournament team or from that weekend?
Emily Merrick and Dugan made the all tournament team.
So like that makes sense. Dugan doing what she does best. Gosh, she is so fun to watch. Oh my gosh. And Bren showing up too with Diggs along with Maddie. Consistent what we see from them. Reagan doing a great job. Yeah, like you're right.
The freshmen they flash, and even Bryn. Like I don't think Bryn Williams knows how good she could be. Like I don't know if she grasps because how high she jumps and the power she can get on her. Like I don't know if she grasps how good she is gonna be, but be like she's gonna be her by the time she graduates college. She's gonna be, and she has those matches you saw against Notre Dame and some others. When she's on, she's unbelievable. But in the SMU game, she's just a little bit long, or just a little bit, and that's just stuff that they gotta consistency. And I don't know what needs to change. I'm not a volleyball coach, but it just seems like the other teams have a much easier time getting kills against us. Like, they'll hit it to somewhere where there's just nobody there for us. I know. Versus we have to really work to get ours because those teams are more cohesive. They have had more time together. And that's what I mean when I say this team could be really good by the end of conference by the time we get that cohesion. The question is what is your record by the time you get that cohesion together? It's great for the future. That's cool. But we really want to send Dugan and Merrick out, like, on a good note. Like, let them have some... at least be competitive towards the end of the year. And we saw that. We've beaten Notre Dame. We've beaten Wichita State. We fought. We been in the game with LSU and SMU. We're not necessarily... so we've had some matches where we just... what? But typically when we're playing the better teams, we're in them. Yes. But volleyball... I didn't play volleyball because it just didn't exist in my town. Not a Title IX friendly town, let's put it that way. They were very pro basketball, and they didn't want us playing volleyball, taking away from basketball practice. So they just didn't have volleyball, and no one complained. So I didn't really get to play it at a competitive level outside of for fun. But to me, it's got to be a really mentally challenging game. Oh, yeah. Because you can come out and do what SMU did to us, 25-11, pure domination. That's like playing basketball. I can't imagine playing basketball and just absolutely dominating someone in the first quarter of a game. Yep. And then you walk out for the second quarter and they're like, all right, scoreboard 0-0. Yep. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I know. We just did all that work for no reason. And I think that's what this team is struggling with. Sure. And it helps them when we're losing. But once we get on those rolls, we win 2 sets. It's like, okay, we just need to get the closing set. We just struggle with getting that last set because it goes back to 0-0 no matter how well you did. So I think it's that mental side and that cohesion that definitely can come. It's not a talent issue necessarily. There's definitely more talented teams in our conference. Hello, Texas, BYU. But overall, on the other teams, we can get ours. Like even with the matchup we have coming up, we could beat Kansas this weekend if we really play well.
Do it. Yeah. I think you're totally right. It's almost like just fitting the puzzle together and the components are there. It's just what is the right combination or what is the right like mental approach to it. And we talked to, Maddie and Curry in a couple of interviews and they talked about that, right? Like having that mental toughness is so key with volleyball. So I think you're right. We did have volleyball, but I was like trash at it. But I can't even imagine what that's like for them. But you're so spot on with the talent is there. It's just what is the right fine tuning as we get closer to
lineups and all
yeah
that.
totally.
That's what they got to figure out. And I think as we move into this week, you have 2 chances to watch this team play. Yes, get out there.
At home.
Friday is probably the best option. I get it. We all love football. You're trying to support as many teams on campus as you can. If that's your goal this week. Thursday night, watch soccer. Friday night, get to the USA and watch volleyball as they take on number 17 in the country. Kansas comes to town. They are 9-1 on the year. Their only loss was to Purdue early in the season in 5
for
sets.
Now.
They haven't really played anybody, to be honest. They're ranked 17th for a reason. They've earned the respect. They did beat Wichita State, who we also beat, and they've beaten Colorado. The rest of their opponents are kind of lesser caliber, but they've taken care of those opponents.
Yep.
Which we have seen our team slip up against some of those opponents. So it doesn't mean that just because they haven't played a bunch of stalwarts like, say, SMU, like we talked about, has. Their ranking is well deserved, and they've been tested, but maybe we can sneak up on them like we have shown to do at home. Especially, we can do their leader in kills, Reagan Cooper, transferred from Texas Tech. She was in Lubbock for 3 seasons. She leads them in kills.
Dang.
Coach, yeah, that always hurts, right? Coach Greystone had this to say about her. He's like, I love Reagan. Everyone knows that. And it was crushing to see her leave, but I understood why. But this team, Kansas, is more than just Reagan. It's the best team that Kansas has had in a while.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's what he's saying by that.
Statement,
is they just seem well-rounded. I haven't watched Kansas play volleyball. Not
what? You don't do that all the time?
But yeah, I'm not tuning into Kansas volleyball a lot. But looking at them stats-wise, they're pretty well-rounded. Like they have 3 players right at that 100 kill mark. Wow. So Cooper leads them at 103. El Nady, I don't know how to say her name, is right behind her at 101, and then Davis is at 96. So I think there's 3 people you kind of key in on. Our team is similar. If Merrick can keep like her hot streak going that she had, she'll bump into that. And if Bryn can keep going, that's when we're good. When you have Bryn, Dugan, and Merrick all 3 clicking, this team can beat anybody. Well, almost anybody. Like Texas and BYU are on another level, but they can. Who knows? When those 3 are clicking, then those teams can't key in. They can't set up their blocks for one player. If we're getting the sets right and all that, we can beat people. It's just. It seems like more often than not, it's like one of them's having a great game, and so then the other team knows, oh, they're gonna give it to Dugan. They're gonna get, and their blocks are so well set up. So I think that is why Kansas on paper is probably pretty good. Is they're consistently, they almost all have 100, right? So they're consistently good every game, all 3 of them, and defensively, like trying to set up your blocks is probably gonna be a little tricky against them because you don't really know who they're gonna go to. Yeah, would be my assumption on why they're a pretty good team. Totally. But I love that it's at home. We played really well at home. Our fans, we had almost 1,000 people for Notre Dame, so
it was a good time.
Friday night, y'all get out there on Friday night and support them.
Very electric.
They're home on Saturday at 2 p.m. as well. If you can't get the Friday game, catch that and then go home watch football thereafter. But they are home on Friday night, which is 6 p.m. It's an early start.
Nice, 6 p.m. Yeah, I'm excited to watch them play as usual. Business as usual. So after they have Kansas and then they travel to TCU and then back home again with UCF. So
yes,
the Big 12 conference. We in it. And I think they're like
ain't no joke either.
Oh my gosh, it ain't. And based off of like what they've been saying in their social media with like players and stuff like that, like they're excited for this too. They're ready and and seeing what combinations that work for them. But I'm excited that they're excited, and we got to do our
non-con
part too to
means
show up.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We're 0-0. Season
right.
starts now. So get out there and do what you do. We're excited. We're gonna be there screaming about them. And I don't know. I feel pretty good. I think we can steal at least one of these from Kansas. That's my call, and I think that is a big win.
Let's do it.
To win both of them by all means, gals.
Do it.
But I think we're capable of getting a good week of practice in, coming out Friday night in front of a good crowd, hopefully, and doing what we do.
That's right.
And who knows what happens on Saturday? But just gotta stay consistent. You know what I mean? Get that consistency. This team's scary.
I know. Totally terrifying.
It says every sports team in America.
I know, right? They're like, wow, that's a great strategy, Shelby.
Yeah, be consistent. But that's, I mean, watching them, that's all it is. It's a lot of self errors and stuff happening right now for them.
Yeah, kind of hurting themselves there. But yeah. All right. Well, let's give the people this rounding out message.
What they want.
No, they came here for all of it.
They were here for soccer.
They were here for your beer money, actually, Shelby. They were
that's what it
waiting
was.
for that. So watch
Beer
everybody.
money. But if you're still here, we are going to talk a little football.
Let's do it.
So, did you get to watch the game this week? Because you were traveling this weekend.
I did not.
That's fair. I mean,
so tell me what happened.
Not much of a game.
Okay.
It's one of those, you play in an FCS school. There's only something to talk about if something goes terribly wrong. You know what I mean?
True.
Like if it goes great, everyone's like, yeah.
No news is good news.
You scored, it was 41-3, but you did it against an FCS school. Now, if it was 20-21 or something, we barely win, then everyone's freaking out. But yeah, listen, it wasn't as dominant on the offensive side as you would have hoped. We scored 41 points. 7 of those came from the defense. We had a pick 6 to start the game.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah,
Nice.
Our defense was really good. I think they're not getting the pub that they should. I thought they played really well against Oregon as well, who has a really high-flying offense, and we held them to like 30-something, wasn't it? So I think our defense is quietly having a really solid season. Taylor Dimmonson,
Okay.
he has 3 names, bless him. I call him Rabbit. Everyone knows him. Number 1 on the defense and in our hearts. Has been great. He's getting a lot of pub.
I was going to say that, yeah.
That's
awesome.
A lot of pub.
Can I tell me about Rabbit?
Too, from scouts, and he's just breaking on the balls like really well. He's had some interceptions or close interceptions, but he's laying some hits out there, and he's a good leader. He's doing what you should as a senior. So he's been great. You hope you get more from our pass rush. It was quite hyped up before the season, saying that it was better than last year's, and last year's included a top 6 pick in the NFL draft, Tyree Wilson. So to say those words and then to not have a lot of sacks at this point is a little concerning, but I thought they did better this game of containing the quarterback than we did against Oregon and Wyoming, where when we did get pressure, they just ran up the middle. I don't know that the Tarleton quarterback was all that fleet of foot, so that probably helped as well.
Yeah.
So it's those things that you'll see, but I thought there was growth there. The running game, great. Old Tajee Brooks, man.
Taj Brooks.
Taj. I call him Tajee. Taj Brooks.
Oh, y'all close like that? Is that
yeah, we're tight.
Y'all besties? Yeah. Okay,
me
cool.
No, everyone wanted to see Taj get more carries. That's all you heard about last week. Give the ball to Taj. Well,
Give
he got
that
like
man the rock.
140 yards in the first half and then didn't really play in the second half. They couldn't stop him. This is one of those, well, it's an FCS opponent. Like, we just absolutely, he was better than everybody on the field. Probably the best player on the field offensively. Maybe all year on our team offensively. He's the most talented player. Like, he's that good. And we just kind of kept handing it to him. I think we wanted to pass it more, but Tyler Shuck, there's this debate going on. I think the man just needs confidence. And listen, for how many people are still watching this, we got to stop booing our own quarterback. I wasn't there in person, but supposedly we booed our starting quarterback in the starting lineup announcement. I don't know why people don't understand how much psychology affects the game.
Stop.
But like, if fans are going to take ownership that we can change the game as fans for the opposing team because we're rowdy and we make them uncomfortable, why do you not think your boos are going to do that to your own player? Anyway, so we gotta stop that. You can voice your displeasure when they do something wrong, but booing before the game even starts is wild.
Don't ever do that. the Missouri head coach talked. I saw a clip of him talking about that same thing happened to their starting
It
QB.
happens all
What
over the
the hell
country,
is
and
happening?
I think it was probably our students, and you know how we can't listen. We've all been students at some time. Students do what students do. They're just emotional beings, right? Hopefully, it was not our season ticket holders doing that. The actual grown adults in the building. I didn't hear it on TV. I did hear the very loud ovation for Baron Morton after halftime when he came in. That's to be expected. That
Sure.
everyone, the most popular person on any team is the backup quarterback. Baron Morton's flashy. He's fun to watch, and he's from West Texas. He's very popular, so that doesn't surprise me. I don't really have a problem with that, to be honest. Cheer your players. I have a problem with the booing if that actually happened. But to talk about Shuck, he didn't turn it over. Positives.
Nice.
That's what we asked from him. We said, hey, Tyler Shuck,
don't do that.
They keep telling us he's a pro quarterback. Great. Would love to see that if that happens for him. I think he can be a good college quarterback. I've seen enough to believe that, but he's got to stop turning it over. He didn't have to run the ball really at all because he just kept handing it to Taj, who they couldn't tackle. So that was great. And he didn't force it, but he looked very tentative. He looked like there was a conversation had that said, Tyler, you're the dude, but we need you to stop turning it over. And so he just stood there. And stood there. And,
didn't do a lot of his running?
We got sacked on the first play of the game.
Oh, bummer.
And over the middle, it seemed like maybe we were working. Maybe that's what it was. We were like, hey, we need to get him better at throwing over the middle. Let's force it. Let's try. And then he just wasn't wanting to throw it. Our receivers weren't really getting open either. There wasn't a lot of separation happening, which is concerning against FCS school. But that continues to happen. It's been a problem this year and last year. He just seems hesitant. To me, I get it, sports psychology, but that's my background. Like, it's mental for Tyler Shuck. Yeah. He has the physical tools. He does. He has the physical tools to do what he does well and be a good college quarterback. Mentally, and I'm not talking smarts, I'm talking mentally. He is out of sorts right now. But he didn't turn it over, and when he left the game, it was 24-0 or something like that.
Okay.
You would have hoped, and he scored 17 of those points because 7 came from the defense. You would have hoped we're up a little bit more, a little bit disjointed on offense. These things, I'm hopeful maybe we had a very vanilla game plan, didn't want to give something away for Big 12 play.
Yeah.
Baron Morton comes in the second half, which, if you're a Seeing Scarlet listener, we told you was going to happen. Did we? Did we not say
you nailed it?
We're winning or we're losing. Baron Morton's going to play probably the entire second half. Those are the words. I think I almost nailed it completely because I said we're going to be up 30-0. Baron Morton's going to play the second half. We were up 24-0, and because we weren't up 30-0, they gave Tyler Shuck one drive. He did nothing with it, bless him. I really wanted him to do something with it for his confidence, knowing that Morton was going to come in the next drive. He did, and then Baron Morton came in. He didn't do anything with his first drive, but he did get a field goal out of it because we had gotten an interception. Okay. Again, our defense got like 3 or 4 turnovers.
Let's go.
And their defense was solid. And then we didn't do anything on his first drive, but his second drive, he drops. This is why people are excited for him.
Oh,
because he can do these things that are an air raid quarterback. Like, our receivers struggle to get open sometimes. I don't know what that is with this receiving core. It's been a problem since last year, like I said. But he can throw it in a way where he leads them open. He trusts it. That swagger, that confidence that we talk about Shuck needing to get that back. He had that at the end of last year. It's gone right now. He has none of it. Morton has all of it.
Okay.
To the point where you're a little worried he's going to try to fit it in too much. But he threw this beautiful ball, like back shoulder fade to the corner to Miles Price, who also did a beautiful job tracking it over his shoulder. Caught it.
That's so hard to do.
I say caught it because they called it a touchdown. On the review, I was like, oh, they're going to overturn that. It looked like the ball hit the ground, but they kept it a touchdown. So good job on Miles. He caught it in the sense of caught it, but in football rules, a lot of people would have overturned it.
It was a catch.
It hit the ground and moved a little bit. Let's just say they overturned the Malik Dunlap interception the week prior. That was way more of a catch than this was. But it was still impressive nonetheless. It counted. And so then that's like, well, that's what we've been missing. And that's what we talked about. Like, he is more of an air raid quarterback. And that's why fans clamor for him. That's why I think Zach Hilly is a better play caller when Baron Morton's in the game. The question with Baron Morton is always going to be turnovers. And you kind of saw it. He did throw one interception. Now, if you were watching the game, it seemed like their run play was called, and he checked at the line to like a go route or a fade on the outside to Loic Fungi. Loic did not get the sign.
Oh no.
A lot of people are saying that that's on him, and it probably is, but there's also that's what happens when you're playing multiple quarterbacks. He didn't get the sign, so he's running straight down the field blocking.
Oh
and
no.
Barron chunks it up
Wait.
to him anyway. And it was an easy interception. So
Right.
that is on both players, in my opinion. I love Barron. Like I said, I got
Communication.
the guy's jersey back there. I'm ready to wear it if he becomes our quarterback. But,
Did you wear it? Oh no, you didn't.
no, I mean I wasn't gonna pull it out at halftime. But
Okay.
he probably just shouldn't have thrown that. Like he wanted to throw it, and so he did, and that's what gets Barron in trouble sometimes. But that's that youthful. He's not that young anymore, y'all. He's a junior, but exuberance, if you will, that gets him in trouble sometimes, but also allows him to do things that Shuck, when he's not confident like he is right now, is not doing as well. So I think Shuck's still QB1. A lot of people are like, well, Barron won the job. Like it was like clear to a lot of people. It's not. Coach, they're not going to do that. He was up 24-0. I think it's the same as what happens before this game. We said it's the leash is just really short. I don't think they probably won't admit this, but I don't think a coaching staff purposely goes into a game saying, "Hey, Barron, you're getting the second half, no matter what." I think that's we didn't know that when we said that, but basically Joey confirmed that at halftime. We just inferred it, but he did confirm that was the plan. I don't think you do that if you're 100% confident in your starting quarterback, because in a 24-0 game against an FCS school where your offense isn't quite clicking yet, if you're 100% confident in your starting quarterback, whether it's from a skill standpoint or that he can stay healthy the whole season, you're not worried about getting the backup reps. He can get reps in practice. They wanted to get Barron Morton game reps. It was planned before the game. And so I think that's the only comment Joey needs to make about it. People are reading a lot into Joey saying after the game, Tyler Shuck is still QB1. Like he started his press conference that way. People are like, how can you say this? I think he said a lot by before the game telling Morton you're playing the second half. Telling everyone knew that was happening unless it was somehow like a 24-20 game or something.
Sure.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if it was a 24-20 game, Morton was in the game anyway. But I don't think you do that if you are confident in your quarterback making it throughout the whole season. You know what I mean? Like they wanted him to get time in there. So I think that says a lot about it. Doesn't mean I think that we just have two solid quarterback options. I think one is probably fit for the offense a little bit better, but I am here for Tyler Shuck going demon mode like he did at the end of the last season when he won the job back from Barron, who stole it from him for a couple of games. When he got that job back and he had that chip on his shoulder and he was playing free and playing loose like Morton's doing right now, he was a good quarterback.
That's the magic.
Right now, he's playing real tight. He's a sixth-year senior. It's his last chance. He really wants to make it to the NFL, all these things. This is his last chance to do it, and he's playing like that. He just needs to forget all that and go out there and play football. And if he does that, I think he can win some games in the Big 12, but I think his leash is very short. And we kind of tipped our hand by wanting to get Morton minutes in this game and basically confirming that was something we decided to do before the game started, no matter what. Again, I don't think you do that if you're 100% and who your starting quarterback is, because if you're only up 24-0, you would have said, we got to figure this out. We got to work on some things and get ready for Big 12. Instead of saying that, they were like, yeah, we probably should do that, but we also need to get Morton some reps just in case. You know what I mean? So
totally.
I think we're in a good situation from the standpoint that both guys are good. They will have to make a decision sooner than later. I hope they don't have to, because from a Texas Tech fan standpoint, I hope that means Shuck goes out there and just absolutely demolishes West Virginia on Saturday.
That's right.
But if not, I do have confidence that the staff will make the choice if they need to, but I also feel like if Shuck plays like he did against Oregon, minus the turnovers, he can be a good quarterback. Yeah. It's an if for him, though.
Oof. Yeah, so they will travel to Morgantown, right? Like it's a away game to West Virginia.
Always a tough place to play.
Yeah, always tough. I went to a game once when Tech went to West Virginia, and it's nuts.
Their fans are rowdy. They're very similar to us.
Tough environment, both for basketball and for football, especially men's basketball. But games
too. Happening.
Yeah. What are you feeling for West Virginia? So West Virginia coming off a win. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be the favorite to win. I think the spread is like 6 points. It's gone up to 6 points. I believe their starting quarterback is rumored to be out injured, Garrett Green.
Okay.
He got injured in the Pitt game, who they did just beat. So they're coming off a really big high. Also a home game. Their fans are going to be riled up. But now that's like after we beat UT, it's the same level. Like that's their biggest rival. They're not in the conference with each other anymore, but they used to be. So it's a big rival for them.
Totally.
And they got to play and they got the win. And they'll be hype to get in there. They probably feel like we're one of their chances to get a Big 12 win this year, like early in the year. So they're probably like looking at us so far, thinking like, "Oh, we better get this win." But no, I think we'll win. I don't know how. I don't know what the how is going to be. My personal opinion is our defense has been pretty good. I get we're the air raid school and all that jazz, but run the ball and play defense if it works. If it ain't broke, stop trying to fix it just because. Like
that's how the saying goes.
If it ain't broke, you never heard that saying?
I haven't heard it as detailed and elegantly as that.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Like,
well done.
just do what's working until it isn't working.
Yeah.
And stop trying. I think our fans are guilty of this too. They're like, we got to work on this because when we play Texas, that won't work. And I'm like, I get that. But if we're so hung up on that, I think that's what got us in trouble against Wyoming is we tried to hold back plays until it was too late. And then they let Chuck go loose in overtime. If they let Chuck run power option like he did in overtime, we would have won that game. So, like, I think just do what's working. Stop trying to use a game as practice and just win the games is my thing. And I think our team is capable of making it ugly if we need to and winning. And if we need to make it pretty, I think that's a different quarterback. And I don't think that's a shot. That's just Tyler Shuckman's go out there and make this game ugly without turnovers. Get out there. I'm talking like bully ball them, make the throws when he needs to, and win the game. Or they'll make the decisions accordingly. But the team's good enough to beat West Virginia for sure. And the start of Big 12 play is really favorable for us.
Good.
Some of our tougher teams are later in the year. So we really need to start the Big 12 off well. And I do understand that that's why some fans are nervous about the quarterback situation, that we won't make the choice until it's too late. And we need to win these games because of the back half of our schedule being tougher.
Tough.
So I totally get it. And I'm there with you as a fan. But stop booing him. That's all I ask. You can have your opinions. We all have our opinions. But good gosh.
Yeah. I thought, if we want to win, that's probably step one on how to lose.
My gosh. Like, you don't even need a degree in it to know that is so stupid. Like,
so silly. Oh my gosh. They're just, some young adults. But anyway, looking forward to that. What time is their game on Saturday? Is it 2:30?
2:30, 3:30 here, I think.
Okay.
That's mid-afternoon game.
Awesome.
Yes.
So on ESPN Plus, Big 12, all that good stuff.
Exciting.
So looking forward to I love football. Love football season.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I think this is the first chance to really see what we have. Obviously, Oregon was it. I think we saw good things in Oregon. If we play like we did against Oregon, we can beat West Virginia and as well as a number of teams in the Big 12.
Totally.
So I think it'll be good for the fan base. I think everyone's a little nervous, and I get it. I'm a little nervous. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Good. So, I love that. Yeah. Let's be optimistic.
The only other thing I have on here is I saw that women's golf is hosting a tournament in Lubbock for the first time in a few years, it sounds like, over at Rawls on Monday and Tuesday. So if you want to watch, it sounds like you can. We had that conversation earlier on the pod, but they put out today your Monday and Tuesday plans are set. So I assume that means you can get out there and watch golf if you want to do it.
And I think I remember, Shelby,
you
talking about, if you can say and show proof that you've been to every Texas Tech sporting event, Shelby's going to do something. I forgot what you said.
I think I said
go
20
back and
bucks or something.
20 bucks. Dang, money bags over here buying beer, buying all this stuff. But yeah, that's dope. And we have some like really, really great, impressive golfers, like all across men's and women's. Like Ludwig is doing amazing.
Doing things.
Shannon Tan on our women's side is a absolute beast. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, and I love golf.
I love sports.
Big golf family.
If it's on TV, I'll watch it. I don't care what sport it is.
That is
especially
so true.
Texas Tech team. I'm much more into college sports than pro sports these days, but
That's right.
yeah,
Wow.
that's what we got for y'all. Hopefully,
right.
it seemed like we had. It says like 1,000 of you people have viewed this on Twitter. I don't know if that's true. It's Twitter, but if you
1,000.
watched it, thanks for joining. Thanks for
Yeah.
commenting. If you're watching it on delay, it's gonna exist out there on the world of where it exists on YouTube or on Twitter.
Can you tell that it's
It's
11
1
or
a.m.
12:30
coming up
for
on a
Shelby?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe we'll continue to do some of these if it works for y'all. It's easier. We'll check the quality on the post. We'll go check it out, see how
Yeah,
it
we'll check it
looks.
out.
But
Yeah,
if
but
it's crappy, we'll get back to doing what we do. But this is easier for sure.
it is.
From an
Yeah,
editing standpoint.
lots of sports happening. We know that fall is full of it, so lots of sports to watch in
Yeah.
Lubbock, away, all that good stuff.
First up
So
on Thursday, y'all. Let's good juju. The first win against Texas of the year in any sport coming up on Thursday. We're gonna beat the Longhorns on
Tell 'em.
Longhorn Network. If you can't get to the game, if you're not in Austin, watch it online. If for some reason you can't get a hold of the Longhorn Network, follow us on Twitter. We will be
Yeah.
tweeting out all the highlights. We'll be doing basically play-by-plays as much as we can get out there. We just tweet all the stuff we're seeing that you may not be jumping out at you just because we like to hype the girls up and let people know what's going on. So we'll be doing it. Watch that. Watch football. Y'all know when that's happening. You got volleyball in Lubbock on Friday night and Saturday afternoon. Get to those. And we'll see you sometime next week. I don't know what day.
We'll
Monday,
figure it out.
Tuesday, maybe.
Yeah, we'll figure it
find
out.
you.
We'll find you. Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in, Red Raiders, and y'all know how we do it here. Until next time, we wreck 'em.
Rag 'em.